everyone, welcome back to Book Love. I'm Ember. Today we're going to be talking in a little bit different, not necessarily about books, like a specific book, but I just want to kind of go over why reading matters. Why do I care about reading so much? It's kind of been interesting. I decided to start a YouTube channel about books and about reading several years back, and I did a few videos and then stopped, and now I'm back at it. But I've had this want always, for a long time, just to share my love of reading and my love of books. And if you're, someone who's talked to me online, or if you're a friend of mine, someone I work with, family members, I'm always talking about books with them. And I know that a lot of you are book lovers as well. So you know what I'm saying. Reading is just such an amazing and powerful thing. But I do know that some people struggle with reading. Maybe they want to read and they just can't justify spending the time, or they just don't really know how to get started. So today we're just going to kind of be talking about why I personally think that reading is so important. And to do that, I'm going to start you way back at the beginning. Growing up, I was in homeschool for most of my very young, tender years. And don't get me wrong, lots of homeschool people, parents really excel. I have some friends who are just sensational with their homeschool. Their kids, I feel like, are just really getting the best education, so tailored to them and help them advance and find the things they love. So yes, homeschool can be a very amazing thing, but some other times it's a lot more sketchy and maybe not very good. And that was kind of our homeschool situation. It was home, not so much school. So anyway, my parents divorced, and my mom ended up moving our whole family 400 miles away. I remember that was really the opportunity for us. My mom wanted new things, better things. I remember going to the library for the first time. My mom took us and got us library cards, and it was always a big, exciting thing to go to the library and pick out books, to bring home. I was about 10 years old when I started school for the first time. Typically, you would be around 5th grade. I remember them putting me into 4th grade as they tested and saw where, educationally what I knew. I don't know why this sticks with me so much, but during some of those tests and evaluation, I remember a time when I was supposed to figure out how to spell the word red. I remember there was the color red, R-E-D, but I think the question was asking about, your mother read you a book. How do you spell that? And I didn't know, I didn't know if it was a different spelling or the same. The only red I knew was R-E-D, the color. And so for some reason that memory has stuck with me of just kind of how behind I was, a 10-year-old who doesn't know that. Anyway, so I was taken out of 4th grade and put into 3rd grade a few weeks after starting the school year. And let me tell you, that is awkward, okay? All the other kids are like, what the heck? They don't know why you were in their class last week and now you're in the grade below them. Needless to say, elementary school was a little bit tricky for me, but it was also great because, I was able to work really hard and learn a lot in those next couple of years. I remember for sure, I'm not sure if it was in 4th grade, but for sure in 5th grade, where I was reading books that were, 500 pages or 400 pages at least. I remember other kids and even teachers mentioning like, oh wow, that's a really big book, So my love of reading really grew from there, where you could grow up in any kind of circumstance, of any kind of deficiency, of want of different things, but in reading you could have a different life. You could go away, you could find an adventure, you could find a friend. I do remember some of my earliest books. I remember being given a copy of Ender's Game when I was 13, so it was the first novel I think that was ever mine, and The characters and the story, I just identified so much, and I remember just feeling such a connection to that book. Another early book I remember was actually the Pit Dragon trilogy by Jane Yolen, and I read those books and I just remember if you've read them, maybe this happened to you, I don't know. There's just this part that was so sad and I just cried and cried reading it. So these are kind of the emotional things that to me make reading so important. That's why I try to promote love of reading. That's why I'm trying to raise a generation of reading kids, book lovers. There are even studies that talk about the importance of reading. I was looking over and doing some research a few years back to give kind of a talk or a presentation, and found, there's been studies. I should have looked all those up to give you specific sources, but if you Google, or use your favorite search engine, I'm sure you can find plenty. Reading has been proven to reduce anxiety and depression. And it's said that people who read live longer. It can also combat things like Alzheimer's disease. So reading is quite a boon for us. It helps keeps our mind sharp. It helps keep our emotions sharp. And this is reading anything, but also specifically leisure reading, not self-help, not make yourself better. There's a couple of statistics that are surprising to me. 24% of American adults haven't read an entire book in the past year. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy to me. Whatever kind of things you're interested in, there is going to be a book out there for you, I promise. I think I'm going to make a video that talks about how to find books, how to discover some books that you might be interested in and you can fall in love with. I tell my kids this all the time, that everyone is a reader. Everyone will love reading if they could find that book. Okay? There's going to be a book for you that sparks a joy inside. And I have noticed it with my own children. Once we get that one book that really hooks them and that really they connect with and they can really fall in love with, that from then on, getting them to read, it's not so hard. I do want to share, just kind of an ending here, a quote. I have a lot of book quotes. I have a whole Pinterest board full of book stuff, but this is a quote that's become one of my new favorites lately. It's by Neil Gaiman, who, if you don't know, is an author. So Neil Gaiman says, "Fiction gives us empathy. It puts us inside the minds of other people, gives us the gift of seeing the world through their eyes. Fiction is a lie that tells us the truth over and over." And I just thought that was so true. Why do we love stories? Why do we love fiction, even nonfiction, even self-help, whatever? But it's because we can see pieces of truth. Maybe they're not things that our own life will give us, but by reading these books, by going on these adventures with people, real or unreal, we learn. We really, really do. We learn, we can grow, we can be more empathetic, we can find more love for others, we can find more love even for ourselves. And I think that it's a very powerful thing when you can read some books and you do feel those connections and you feel like you've made a best friend. And then it's hard when you have to say goodbye and the book series ends. I guess I'm not over, having invisible friends or make-believe friends, because books give me that. But anyway, that's all I want to talk to you guys about today. Let me know what your spark book was. If you had a book that was that turning point for you that made you fall in love with reading, I'd love to know about it. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.